Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to What You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, I would say you're in the presence of horological royalty, but you are in fact in the presence of a president. This is the Rolex Day-Date II 218-206 reference, 41 millimeters in solid platinum, bezel, case, and bracelet. This is the last of the big presidents. Now, you may know as of 2015, Basel World in Switzerland, it was announced that the 41 millimeter Day-Date II, only in production since 2009, was being discontinued in favor of a new 40 millimeter reference, which will supplant it as the bigger Day-Date. If you want the biggest Day-Date, and to put a finer point on it, if you want the ultimate Day-Date, you want this 218-206 Day-Date II in platinum. This watch has it all going on. And with all due apologies to Ronald Reagan, George Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, Bush 43, and Barack Obama, each of whom has been accused of running an imperial presidency. This right here is the imperial president. Let's put it on the wrist, which can barely support its incredible heft, and get a sense of this watch's aesthetic. Now, I kid a little bit. It actually fits quite well. My wrist is 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, and the Day-Date II looks modern, contemporary, full-bodied on my wrist. The traditional 36 millimeter Day-Date is a classic. It hasn't aged a day since its mid-50s introduction, but there are those tastes and truly colossal wrists that simply demand more presence, more mass, a broader shoulders, more of a barrel-chested look, and you get that with the Day-Date II. 41 millimeters, it actually reads larger. I would say that this watch, in terms of the look and the feel, is comfortably in the league of something like a 42 or a 43. And because the watch has such a nuanced case form with alternately brushed and polished president bracelet and broad lugs, it really reads quite large. It has a lot of presence. It's a real pleasure to wear and to behold. Now, the dial is half of the appeal here because this watch has a dial that is cooler than ice. I can almost taste peppermint patties when I look at this Arctic blast of metallic blue sunburst. This thing is quite honestly charismatic to a fault. Now, this was one of the launch dial designs back in 2009, no longer available even if you were to put in a late order for the last of the Day-Date IIs. They do not offer this combination of sunburst or rayon graining from the center out to a concentric circular guilloche hour track. Now, it's that concentric circle pattern on the hour track that really sets this one apart. It breaks up the sheer expanse of the dial by offering the contrast between the peripheral railroad track, it's out there, it's the minutes track at the outside, the minutes and seconds track, the concentric circles of the hour track, and then the rayon or the soleil, the sunburst of the inner dial. There's a lot of contrast going on here, and although some of the monotone, some of the single finish Day-Date IIs can appear a bit spare or austere, the amount of articulation on this dial breaks up that expanse. It differentiates the portions, and it allows it to read as a really slick composition. Very impressive. Now, I also want to call out some of the unique features of the Day-Date II dial, this particular 218-206. I want to give you a better view of those concentric circles of guilloche on the hour track because they're beautiful, and in person they have a gem-like feature. It's almost like a sapphire has been rendered in metal on this dial. That's how reflective it is, and that's how vibrant it is in person. Each of the heat-blued applied Roman numerals has a lot of body and texture and gleam to it. Each one reads as a distinct piece. Each one has a lot of presence in its own right, and we're just talking about applied elements. Now, from this angle, you can see that train track, minutes and seconds track, outboard of the hour track that I mentioned. It's subtle, but it's there. There's a lot of attention to detail going on here. Now, the hands themselves, as well as the applied numerals, are white gold, but they've been blued, they've been oxidized to have that look that corresponds to the primary color of the dial. Dark enough, however, that they give a two-tone look. Very impressive. Also very legible. There's never any difficulty telling what time it is on this watch. And I'll also add that the Cyclops eye and the aperture for the day at 12 o'clock are a little bit more consonant with the whole on the 41 millimeter watch than they are on the 36, where they seem to take up just a little bit too much real estate. There's a little bit less space to work with on that watch, and it can appear a bit crowded, especially when equipped with full Roman numerals. No such problems on the Day-Date II. Now, while the watch is the Day-Date, it's always been known as the President, colloquially, because every president from JFK through Bill Clinton has worn one. But the bottom line is, the bracelet itself truly is known as the President. Now, the 3-link Rolex President contrasts with the other well-known Rolex bracelets, the 5-link Loop Delicate Jubilee and the burlier 3-link Oyster. Now, the 5-link Loop composition Jubilee doesn't have quite the prestige of the President. Now, the President's generally featured only on the Day-Dates, not exclusively. It has appeared on Datejusts and some dress references, but this is the watch that it's associated with. And when you get a Rolex Day-Date, you want the President bracelet. 3-link as ever, it's very substantial in the hand, has almost no play in it, and silky on the wrist. It's got a substance to it that reads on the wrist, eyes closed, somewhere between the sports watch Oyster and the somewhat dainty, somewhat effete Jubilee. It's the perfect compromise between the two, having a silky smooth feel on the wrist, but also the visual presence to go blow for blow with the sports watch. And one of its signature elements has always been the seamless crown clasp. Now, the crown clasp, traditionally, would join the bracelet and create a seamless appearance. There's no bulky Oyster clasp as there is on the Oyster references. Instead, there's just the subtle 5-point Rolex coronet where the two ends meet. And the latest generations of the President bracelet with the crown clasp now feature an articulated element, not merely a pick to lift the clasp. It now actually features a pivoting link underneath, as you can see, that makes the opening and the closing just that much slicker, just that much more fluid. Rolex is always refining, and the fully milled out platinum extension, the deployment itself, feels like $1 million, befitting of a watch with this stature, this history, this heritage. This watch also has outstanding condition. It reads as virtually a new timepiece. All of the original contrasting graining of the President bracelet is finished, and this unique smooth bezel, a look that's not often seen on precious metal Rolexes, just adds to the sleekness and the style and the uniqueness of this outstanding full platinum Rolex Day-Date II. Now, as I stated, the Day-Date II is on its way out. Having only run from 2009 to 2015, this is certain to be a collectible piece. Whenever you have a Rolex that's had a short production life, it automatically punches its candidacy. It's in the running as a collectible. That's right, this President is in the running. But the bottom line is the platinum version, the full platinum version, is a rarity among rarities. This is one of the few I have ever seen, and I guarantee it, if you purchase this watch at your next Red Bar, you will be the only one with a full platinum Day-Date II. And you're likely to be the only one with a Day-Date II featuring this outstanding peppermint patty Arctic Blast dial. Now, I don't want to overuse that term peppermint patty. I just remember the old peppermint patty commercials where they talked about getting the sensation. And I do get the sensation when I hold this watch in my hands. It's something special. It really deserves to be seen in high-resolution images on our website, Watch You Want, with the Rolex COSC caliber 3156 in-house with all the modern toys, Parachrome anti-magnetic hairspring, Rolex Paraflex shock absorbers, double quick set for the date and the day, automatic winding, very refined, tough as nails, and 100-meter water resistant with the twin lock crown. If you've got the style to pull it off, this could be your only watch. This one's just as rugged as any twin lock crown Rolex Oyster, but it's got a degree of sophistication, exclusivity, and collector potential that put it virtually in a class by itself among modern Rolex references. See this outstanding Rolex Day-Date II reference 218206 on our website, Watch You Want.